I'm starting it. Alrighty. Can you hear me, brother?
I can hear you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, wonderful.
Beautiful.
No echo or anything like that?
No, we're good. It's funny, I didn't actually hear it the last time, so I don't know exactly what people are picking up, but
I didn't hear it either, but I am with you. I'm standing beside you and behind you. I feel you leading this today, and I
we are
definitely
here. I
recognize it.
think Landon is here actually too.
Wonderful. Hi, Landon.
And Michael. Beautiful.
Oh,
Beautiful. We're
perfect.
going to get started in a few minutes, just letting everyone kind of bring themselves in. I'm going to go on mute actually just for a second. Alrighty. Got everyone coming in here. Kate, Maria Smith, beautiful. We're going to get started in a few minutes, my friends. It's going to be a powerful evening. It's a powerful energy day. We know you're all feeling it. Social media was in a craze. Oh boy.
The energy's already warming up. Ah,
So if you're just getting in, just taking a moment to sink into your own space, making sure you have a comfortable space, temperature is good, you're comfortable, everything is quiet, hopefully for you. It doesn't need to be, of course. Sometimes some spice from the environment is always powerful and useful. Just taking a few minutes maybe just to close your eyes and bring the awareness inside for a bit, just calm yourself from the day. We're going to get started in just a few minutes, just waiting for the rest of us to flow in here. It's going to be a nice intimate group tonight.
just feeling the energy of whoever's in the room, just starting to connect. Who's here live? Who's in oneness? Who felt led? Who found themselves here today?
Alrighty. Well, let's get started. I'm going to ask for everyone to actually jump into this first meditation with me, just as an opportunity to kind of get themselves in a space of openness, in a space of connected with their own intuition, and connected with us, Noah and I. Obviously, we are in a space open to connect with you and give you back what you are already speaking to yourself as a mirror, as an intuitive guide, as a friend, as one who's walking this path with you. And the messages in which come through are, of course, just as much for us as they are for you. And we're all in a similar space in this time of transition, recognizing that ultimately at the peak and at the push of our highest light in our heart space, naturally we're always in a space of transition. We're always in a space of awakening, and this is what now brings. We've looked externally. We've looked through the physical world by slowing down our internal process and trying to speed up our external process. Now it is for us to space of heart, of acceptance, reverse of and desires, and getting you to sit in a nice comfortable position. Hands can be in the lap or on the knees. I would just ask for you to really open yourself into this meditation and give everything into this meditation. Release from the day. Spine coming nice and straight. I'm going to close the eyes, just bringing the awareness inside for that moment. Just taking a deep breath into the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. And one more time, in through the nose and out through the mouth. And just coming into watching the breath now, watching the air flowing into the nose and watching the air flowing out through the nose. Feeling no need to control anything, just giving yourself the opportunity to connect, to watch. Bring the awareness in between the eyebrows, just rolling the eyes up, just a tiny little bit, and connected with the breath, allowing yourself to calm down, releasing from the day, releasing from the emotions and the distractions. With our focus in between the eyebrows, as we come into more of a subtle space, a gentler space, a space of a little bit more contentment. Focusing in between the eyebrows, we're going to repeat this affirmation and intention within the mind's eye to ourselves, activating connection to my higher self, opening up for intuitive wisdom and guidance. Activating connection to my higher self, opening up for intuitive wisdom and guidance. Sinking back into the breath, watching, and just feeling into the body. Kind of releasing from the cerebral and brain focus, coming into the heart space, kind of lowering the energy, lowering your focus into the center of the chest. Feeling your heart space open, activating the heart chakra, releasing all energetic blockages within the heart space. Feel yourself completely letting go of all distractions for the next 90 minutes, fully sinking into this present experience. And as we're in the space of connection, connecting with the physical body, connecting with the environment in the room around us, connecting with my voice. And when you feel ready, we will slowly open our eyes and bring our awareness fully back into this space, into this heart-centered call we have for you today. So I connect with you, you as an individual, you watching this call, connected in this space. I connect with you in compassion for where you are currently at in your experience, knowing that the message always needs to be practical. It always needs to be applied in practical light. Knowing that if we have the practical steps to apply in our moment-to-moment experience, we bring by the grand peak to now. We're not looking for a distant place in which we will find spirituality. We're not looking for a distant place in which we'll find the final enlightenment. We're coming into the space of the present experience, in which is asking for us to completely apply all of the true fundamental principles in which we have come to know. Many of us who are in this space of even coming into this call or resonating at this certain vibration and being able to hold space with us here, naturally you're in a space where you've read the books, you've watched the courses, you've done the videos, you've experienced the knowledge, right? And you've connected with this knowledge in a space that recognizes that these fundamental principles of discipline, of focus, of balance, of love, compassion, forgiveness, gratitude, these are all experiences in which ultimately we can speak about as much as we want. We can study about as much as we want, but naturally we need to apply them. We need to sink deeply into the every moment application of these, first and foremost starting with our own nature. Knowing that as we've experienced the illusion of identity and the illusion of falling within the spaces of identity within our experience, so attaching to certain preconceived notions about an individual, or attaching to certain rigid structures of belief patterns about how you think life should be, or the opinions on political parties or certain things that are happening out in the world. Naturally, as you fall into these spaces of identity, you're not coming into that space of compassion, not coming into that space of gratitude, that space of forgiveness and acceptance, because naturally, all of these words are talking about the same thing. They're talking about the practicality of coming so deeply rooted within the breath, within the practical experience of the now, knowing that we must taste the fruit of the desireless space within the void of each moment. So feeling like we need to always speak up and say something when someone says something that we don't agree with, or feeling like we need to go and reach for the food when we're a little bit bored, or feeling like we need to act and make all these things happen to bring the money into our life. Naturally, when we fall into these spaces, we're falling out of the natural flow of compassion, forgiveness, gratitude, and love as foundational cores to one who is in the knowing of their core root, which is that void, that silent space. Because as one give themselves the time or the timeless experience of the nature of this, then naturally they can flow through life in the nature of this perpetually. Action becomes silence. So we're not sitting into a meditation where we sit all day, meditation, and we bring ourselves into the devoid of life. We avoid life, or we avoid the issues in our experience, or we avoid the people we must face. We're coming into this space of meditation, in this heart center, within every moment, using our seated meditations, using our prolonged periods of solitude and the individual nature as a reference point and as a tool to release ourselves from the bondage we have sunken ourselves into, from the momentum we have created externally that we feel is momentum in the essence, and then we can bring that back into our experience. We everyday moment to moment life where we can practically apply all of these spaces and recognize that much of the life in which we thought was life no longer will be life. No longer will it be a part of your daily experience because you will no longer naturally resonate with that. We're looking to find ourselves in the spaces of our natural residence, our natural flow, and we can only do that if we give ourselves and we have faith within ourselves to step off the cliff into the heart space where there's a void of unknown. It is the 1% to the 99. Ultimately, the space that we've experienced within the 99 is the everything, the mind, the natural, the fabricated experience of the world, the fabricated experience of the ego. So for us to step into that 1% takes an immense amount of courage, but it is the only thing in which we must do. Is the only thing in which we have the potential to do, because ultimately our highest potential is asking for us to step in it. It's asking for us in every moment to step in it, because every moment that we do not, we are in spaces of suffering. So we can choose the suffering if we like, or ultimately we can surrender and not even need to choose, because naturally the natural space will suck us in as we just let go from choice altogether. And this is a powerful teaching because choice is illusionary. Choice is only in the space of ego. When we release from choice, we release into the universal space. And the universal space is the divine flow in which is existing already, presently, in peace at the source of all bliss. There is no difference between that source point. The 1% does not really care for positive or negative. It only cares for existence in its void. And so we may come into the illusions of mind at times when we try to understand this topic. But as we feel it, and as you just be with us, as you're being here, you're existing here, you're sinking into the message and allowing it to hit the deepened space of your heart, naturally it's activating the source of presence within you, and you're needing to do nothing. You're needing not to rewatch this video, you're needing not to go study some more books, you're needing not to do anything to sink into that space. Sinking into the studying or rewatching the book or rewatching this video naturally will bring you into a deeper level of experience through the ego play, but it will not bring you to any deeper level of your own experience of enlightenment, because naturally that space of enlightenment is already existing and is asking for us to let go of all of the things in which are external that bring us far away from the depth of the space. So this message can be practical or it cannot be. It is only when mind jumps in trying to force it into its practicality or force it into the how-to or the to-do list then naturally it becomes a conjumbled piece of information in which the mind does not know what to do with. So this is important.
Just taking a moment to really receive that. Because we don't want to move on too fast. We've got to honor this message. We've got to honor what we actually just took in there. As you were speaking, Sheikh, I was making sure to take notes so that we can really go deeper into the authentic message that was bursting forward here and not deviate from the now feeling. What's the feeling in the room? What's going on with those who felt a need to be here? And as you were speaking, the first thing that I wrote down was reserve your energies for the journey forward. Reserve your energies for the journey forward. When you spoke of the emotionality of all that's going on in the world, we're giving out so much of our precious energy to our emotional state, making our emotions the most powerful currency. And when we've got a lot of people going around and our negative emotions are the currency of the time, the currency of now, who's going to stand and decide that negative energies are not the popular currency, are not the most valuable currency of our now? And even in this transmission, that's what this space here is about. So as you were speaking, the next thing that came forward was when you said, okay, how do we make this practical without forcing it into the practical? We've got to make a choice that this now can be in existence as often as we like. Staying in the presence is what keeps all of these happenings in the world from absorbing into our being, from pulling us into it, from moving us off of the platform of peace that we're going to create here. I wanted to ask you, Sheikh, in this session and for everyone that's listening, when you said that you're taking the time to really acknowledge the stress, when you're taking the time to really acknowledge what's going on in the world and not forcing that into your present awareness, what are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do in that daily sense with the situations that we're facing right in front of us? How do we address these issues from a place of peace?
That's extremely powerful because, of course, I experience the nature of social media, for instance, and the amount of things in which are being shared and publicly viewed. And as we look at the experience and the nature of the varying degrees of vibration and duality in which exists within the social media, right? No matter how much we cleanse our news feed, how many amazing, beautiful friends that we have, naturally, these spaces of news and these spaces of terror, these spaces of duality, the spaces of separation, in which is through this egoic reality we live in, naturally are always coming within our view. And it's important to recognize where are we feeling avoidance with these realities that are occurring within our life and within the experience of society. Naturally, we must come into the reality of the existence which is before us. And knowing that when we are subconscious, will no longer the reality, far-reaching degrees of separation in the frequency and polarity from the highest degrees of enlightened beings, parasitic individuals are parasitics and exist within them. Then naturally, in recognizing that there's a neutral lens we are looking through. And when we find that neutral lens, this is when we are giving ourselves the power back to sink into the now, no matter where we are in the planet, no matter where we are in the world, and no matter where we are in the experience of our everyday life. Knowing that as we peel back layers of identity in showing and seeing and doing a check with ourselves, when am I sinking into judgment? When am I sinking into projection? When am I sinking into labeling and defining and concluding? Because all of these things are giving yourselves the opportunity of your ego to create another rigid structure around something that's rationalized as spirituality, or something that's rationalized as being in the now or being present. It is much of what we have seen in the New Age culture of the opposite polarity of denouncing that there is any negativity, or denouncing that there's obstacles, denouncing that there's struggle. It's when we come into full open arms, hugging the obstacles, hugging the issue, the individuals who have issues with us, hugging all aspects of our experience, including ourselves, to sink into the void of neutrality, where we're no longer needing to be any place. We're no longer needing the peak spiritual experience. We're no longer needing the spiritual regimen that keeps us so disciplined and strict.
Yes.
We're no longer needing these things because we are no longer identifying with nor the positive or the negative.
Yes.
So for instance, when we're sinking into issues in relationships, and we have individuals coming into our space and bringing their baggage within us, well, naturally, even the labeling of the baggage in which we're seeing within them is, of course, the smallest, slightest degree of our own projection in which we are given the opportunity now to cleanse. And this is the highest potential that we have, is to be able to sink into allowing for the negative vibrations to come through us and channel through us as healers in which we are. Because naturally, this is what every individual on the planet is, a natural healer, a vortex of energy. And as we open up into the realities of this, the beginning layers, of course, we identify maybe as being a healer or going through our spiritual process. And as we identify with this, we make things more difficult than it needs to be, because we're pulling in all of this energy and releasing our own energy and holding on to it as it goes through to make the play a little bit more dramatic, right? To experience the drama and basically us just trying to hold on and slow down the process. But as we evolve, as we sink into the space of non-judgment, the space of radical acceptance, the space of us fully unloading all of the baggage in which we're holding on to already, and all of the baggage in which other individuals are giving us. The space of allowing it to flow through is one who is not identified with ultimately the desire of needing anything to change at all. Because it's in needing to change things, be it ourselves, be it the world, be it the reality around us, that naturally we are not allowing for any change to occur. If we are looking for true change to experience in our reality, in our existence, in our body, then naturally we must come into full acceptance that no change is needed. Yes. Because in acceptance, the highest guidance is given. It is higher than even the highest intention of love. Acceptance is beyond all, because acceptance is the truest space of silence. And when I speak of love, naturally, I'm giving you the egoic representation of what we come into love through the intention of the blissful feeling that we generally look to project. But love in itself is the glue of the universe, in which ultimately has no polarity. It is a one vibration in which is all vibration. Yes. So love at times is not always the best word to use, especially as the mind has wrapped around it. But as we sink into acceptance, or sink into the void, or even sink into just pure, this is ultimately where the true knowing begins. Because as we sink into, then naturally true change will continue to occur. So as we're having the individual throw the energy at us, and we're hearing the mind throw the energy back, as we're hearing the mind judge, as we're hearing the mind try and protect, well, then we must sink deeper. We must sink beyond. We can allow the mind to do that, because naturally the mind will not stop if it's done for some time. But if we are sinking back and sinking back and sinking back and recognizing that all the things in which the mind is doing is no longer us, it is not us to the core. And it is in that simple awareness that we continue to sink into our transitional awakening in every present moment. This is the importance.
Well, we're really tapping into it. What's the actual point? What's the actual point that there are all those energies needed from us? When we're going through this stress and we're going through this pull of, I need people to be on the same page as me. I need to feel safe, knowing that people around me feel the same way, that they agree with my worldview, my projection, what makes me feel comfortable. The message that keeps coming forward for us is, you better just reserve your energy for the actual journey, for the actual traveling into what's happening. When you're spending so much of your time protecting yourself behind a wall of belief and a wall of this is how things are, we use all of that energy. There's so much going on in the world that we're giving all of our energy out to. And so when you speak of the desireless space and that silent moment, that silent space of presence, the now that we're in. Just honoring this space.
Mm.
This is giving somebody answers just by being in this space. Just the connection of this is a group of individuals that desire peace. So this is the platform on which we are standing. And there's so much energy that if we actually reserve the thought energy, the desire energy, when things actually happen, when there's a shooting, when there's a bombing, when Facebook is going crazy with everybody's different beliefs, you can be an individual that can view all of this information and not be moved to the left or right, rather reserving your energy for that true wisdom to come in and say, are you meant to act or are you meant to say? That's all we need to know. Am I meant to take one step forward into what's right in front of me, the conflict, the energy? And we've got to know, what do I want to do? If we go into every now, every moment, understanding what I want the outcome to be, peace, the desireless space, the one and the zero, the neutrality of life, the balance, then you've got to automatically assume you know how to behave and know how to handle yourself and know how to move through if you know what the end result is supposed to be. You can reserve your energy on all the thinking. Oh, my car payment, I don't have the money. What am I going to do? Well, if you already know that you want your outcome to be peace, comfort, that natural place of balance, of acceptance of all that is, then you know your behavior cannot be one of panic. It cannot be one of over-enthusiasm to solve the problem either. It's about taking the step as your natural body, your natural self in the desireless space feels moved. Letting spirit move you. We talked about being the eye of the storm last time. And there's so much of the continuation of that. Letting the storm shift around you. You're going to be where you are. You're reserving your energy to deal with what's right. No more avoidance. We don't have time for that anymore. The avoidance is what's causing the separation. Like you said, be one with the issues that you're seeing. When you're seeing your friends talk about all the racial disparity, all the issues, and you don't agree, are we doing the unfollow? Are we doing the delete? Are we doing the post and response, the subliminal stuff that we've all gotten into? Or are you going to allow the situation to manifest? Are you going to allow yourself to observe what's happening around you? Are you going to reserve your energy and be in that space authentically? It feels like the only choice we're ever given is, does the universe require you to act or not? And it feels like we've got to get in a space where if the universe isn't saying act, why do I need to act? Why am I putting more pressure and more strain on my body, my being, my outer bodies than necessary? It's meant to be a lot easier for many of us. If you're not walking the street getting harassed, if you're not worried about people coming up on you, if you're not living in poverty and hunger and your hot water is working, then there's a lot of things you don't have to do. That's the wonderful thing. There's a lot of things you don't have to do. And I think it's starting to embrace that desireless space. More and more people are stepping into that and realizing, what can I cross off my list? Do I have to confront this person? Is it meant for me to disrupt the peace that I have set for myself, the standard of peace that I want to project to the world around me? Talking about being the change. A very common phrase in the light worker community, be the change that you want to see. Well, if you want peace and you want people to stop bringing drama to you, you have to decide that your energy is specifically reserved for situations of peacefulness. And anything coming to you outside of that, let spirit determine, do you need to protect yourself by moving out of the way? Are you equipped to act? Is this what you're built for? To step in as a light leader and to pacify the situation? And as I'm learning, as you're learning, as we're all growing and learning, creating more conflict is never the answer. If we can't step into the situation and honor peacefulness, then it's probably taking too much energy and it's probably going to end up hurting you regardless. And I think that's so timely for all the pain we're all feeling. If you can't create peacefulness out of the situation, you're probably not being charged by spirit to act. Some of us need to sit back and let those that are truly equipped in the space of peace to handle the situation. And sometimes spirit is only individual energy entity that's equipped to handle it. So that desirable space is saying, I choose spirit, I accept spirit. I accept the divine that was here before the divine that I know of. I don't have to be the hero of the journey. I don't have to defend myself. It's going to take away a lot of our pain as we allow spirit to deal with, and we are able to be a part of the energy as a witness. There's healing and allowing yourself to be the witness. There's learning, education, preparation, and being the witness instead of always jumping at the perpetrator. You may not be equipped to handle the situation. So before you hurt yourself further, outside of just being offended by what's going on around you, save the injury, save the energy for what you know you are equipped in peace to do.
Beautiful, beautiful. I feel it's time we go into some meditation. We go into a heart space opening. This will be a specific activation for all of you to help activate more deeply the surrender of what the openness and the infinite space of awareness that unfolds within the heart. Because of course, you know, as we sink into the release of mind, the ultimate last thought before that release occurs is, well, what shall happen next? What shall be the next move? What shall be life then? If I am not in the space of life, if I'm not in the space, neutrality of ego that I have come to know, well, what then shall I do? Well, of any time we have stepped infinite unfoldment of creativity. We see an infinite amount of abundance in which exists within that space of nature. And it is similar to anyone who has gone through a change in their diet, who has, you know, come to know more of an attraction to the taste of apple juice than an actual apple, or the fruit punch versus the actual depth of the true fruit. Knowing that in us coming back to the natural taste buds of our spiritual self, we start to activate the realms the mind could never conceive. And this is the beauty. This is the next step. This is us truly transcending this planet and coming into our inner space of existence, similar to when we've experienced things like mind-to-mind communication with another individual. Experience this when we're in the shower, or synchronicity as we're going through our day, seeing numbers and having things happen. Naturally, these are the inner experiences in which are very hard to even put into words, the experience of them, but they are so blissful and so ecstatic, anything which we've come to know. And so this is the infinite experience of sensation that is beyond just the five, in which we fall outside of this small little box we fall into. Recognize that this is the true space of infinite, and this is why we come into that heart space. So I'm going to bring you there. We're going to bring all of us together there, getting into a nice comfortable position, going into this meditation, seated nice and comfortably, of course, finding that comfortable space. I need to do so as well. Hands in the lap or on your knees, eyes closed. And I would like you to right away bring your awareness into the heart space. Just feel into the message that has come through today. Feel into the depth of you. Just beginning to watch the breath and come into that gentle space of the heart. And connected with the breath, we're going to begin to inhale slowly 4 seconds into the center of the chest and 4 seconds exhaling in through the nose and out through the nose. Feeling our heart expand, feeling our heart open with every breath. Setting the intention on cleansing and releasing all that is no longer necessary, all that's resisting you from coming into this space. all that's resisting the space of unconditional love, acceptance, gratitude, forgiveness. Feeling the wave of energy coming through the heart center, feeling connected with the group. Fully letting go of all that is worrying you at the moment, all the fears in which you have, the obstacles in which you may be facing. Giving yourself permission to allow these to pass. And as we slowly release from the breath, focusing in on these 4 phrases, coming into the wholeness with ourselves, saying every word with complete devotion, complete space of unconditional love, repeating in the mind's eye, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I thank you. I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I thank you. Feeling as if the universe is backing you and you have the entire universe within your perception, all of the energy, all of the power from your entire spectrum of life coming into each and every word, focusing deeply in the center space of the chest and the heart, opening up completely. Letting the mind dissipate, fully sinking into these words, fully sinking in to the energy of this meditation and these specific encodings that at the surface contain all of the spaces of self-love, forgiveness, compassion, and gratitude. Slowly we're releasing from these words, coming deeply into the space of heart. Not looking to run from any of the emotions that are rising, sinking more deeply into them, accepting them fully. Releasing from every thought, every emotion, every definition, every inclination that comes. allowing this blissful energy to expand throughout the entire body. Feel yourself connected with your physical body, connected with the seat you are on, connected with your room, connected with my voice. And as you feel ready, we'll slowly open our eyes and bring our awareness fully back into this space. Beautiful. Just allowing everyone to kind of come back into their energy, and if there's any specific questions or topics that you are finding yourself in at the moment, spaces of awareness in which you would like to share, questions you may have in specific, you can go ahead and bring those forward at this moment. I would just ask from you at the present time to naturally allow these to occur. Don't necessarily look for them. Don't go, searching back into your week, into your day. Naturally allow them to arise, because what we tend to find with many of the questions in which we ask, teachers and others and individuals, generally these answers are very fundamental and basic, and at the core root, we are already answering these the moment in which we ask. Because naturally, a question is just one side of the coin, the answer is on the other. So as we're presented the question, naturally we're presented the whole coin. It's just us simply not fully seeing the other side. And so seeing the other side only comes through willingness. A willingness to accept that you need nothing. This is desireless space. Full release from codependency. Knowing that every question you have the answer already. And naturally, it is just through the fog in which you have come to know the illusion that you have not known. In the illusion in which you do not have the answer, the illusion in which you are not in that space to answer. So it's not pushing away questions, because of course I am welcoming questions and I am ready, and I know Noah is the same, but it's recognizing that authentic questions and natural questions come through in a very natural and authentic place. But when they're coming through analysis or through constant perpetual circular thinking, then naturally these are questions in which we are actually more so just avoiding the answer and not looking for the true answer. It is in that natural flow, right? The natural existence when we're having a conversation with a friend, where we're just sinking into the natural experience of a teacher who's with us in our presence, in our space, and then it comes through in the most beautiful moment, almost as if it's coming through for the entire group in that same time. And so this is the natural authenticity in which we are open to and inviting you to sink into with us.
It's so wonderful, the things that are coming forward today. As you were meditating, Sheikh, Spirit just had me writing alongside with you and breathing and just making sure to go over the wonderful nuggets that you've been bringing forward. What I ended up writing down as I was breathing in meditation with you is, when you talk about natural organic questions in this moment, fully prepared to hear the truth, the question that rose up is, for all of us, is, what am I willing to do to achieve comfort in the world that I exist in the reality that I exist in? And the answer that came forward, even just as following your breathing and following the meditative energy, was, well, what do you define the blissful work as? What is peacefulness for you as an individual? Is peacefulness not having any confrontations with anyone? Then hold yourself to that standard. Find your peaceful preparedness. Find the solutions in your effortlessness to achieve peace. So if you're recognizing conflict, if you're recognizing so many thoughts, energies, and feelings of fear, confusion, anger, always bringing it back to the standard. My standard for myself is I don't want or desire to carry the energy of fear, worry, and stress. I don't desire to have conflict with the person who has conflict with me. So instead of fighting for the result, it's about accepting, honoring where each and every person is on their grid point. And we've got to get to the truth. I mean, we're no longer needing milk, we're needing the meat. So the reality is, yes, I've got to accept that school shootings are happening. People I care about may be killed. Things are going to happen when I leave my front door. So how can I live in a peaceful oneness reality when there are so many other human beings around me that are not embracing peace? And when we sit in this place of oneness, just the meditation brought forward, and when we bring those questions and allow those feelings of what's happening in my world today on a daily basis, when we bring that into meditation daily, the answer is there daily. This is peace, is where you should find yourself. Bring your questions, let them arise in the space. You notice for all that you are viewing, the meditation absolutely brings peace. That's the answer we're all seeking for as human beings. How do I escape the reality of pain and confusion and anger around me? How do I separate myself from these things? But coming into this space of oneness, you'll notice you're starting to see the bigger picture. You're starting to accept and feel more lighthearted about all that's going on in the world. Even if you've been personally, traumatically involved. When we get to this space of oneness and we meditate and we breathe and we focus on the breath, that question of what am I willing to do for peacefulness? What am I willing to do to see better in my life around me? What am I willing to do to see the paradigm shift? Get to this space. Create this space everywhere you go. Answer the question by giving the answer. Be peacefulness. That end result that you're always looking for. That end result that we're always fighting for. My viewpoint needs to be correct because I'm coming from a place of love. Everyone in this room is coming from a place of love. Everyone that's going to watch this is living their life trying to come from a place of love. When you're fighting with your friends, telling them this isn't right and you're not doing it right, and you're not following this is the standard you have for yourself. When we're fighting with them, we're loving on them so hard, and we're loving ourselves and trying to speak our truth and be heard and seen. But if peacefulness is your true standard, if what you're really asking the universe on a daily basis, how can I solve this? How can I be peaceful? Be accountable to be accountable to know that with every question, as you brilliantly said, with every question, the answer comes along with it. Are you willing to observe as the witness the full picture of your consciousness and what is right in front of you? Are you willing to step away from the fear that causes you to zoom in and focus in and obsess on the question and explore around to the other side? Be with the pain, be with the offender in spirit. And even as you were meditating, Sheikh, and breathing with you, Spirit had me to write down, love only includes. Love only includes. So all of this trauma and all of these offenders out in the world, yes, love them. Include them in your exemplification of peace. Now it's either going to be from a distance or it's going to be from up close. Spirit will allow you the wisdom, the natural gut feeling, the intuition of whether you need to love them from a distance or if you're able to love them from up close. That's the measure of safety. But love is still possible with all of these people and all of these incidents, with all of the shootings, with all of the cops, with all of the perpetrators, with all the terrorists, with all of the bankers, with all of the rapists. Absolutely, we can get to a point of including all reflections in love from a safe distance or from being directly involved. And I think answering that paradigm shift by being comfortable exploring what side you're in, that's the pathway to peace.
Powerful, powerful. So, as you're speaking, Noah, we had some powerful questions come through. Well, the first one was from Marius regarding the nature of demons and darkness and the lower vibrational tendencies of the human nature. And so, this topic is one of topics that, many teachers and many spaces of New Age culture and spirituality as much. But I find that naturally, evolve and we expand into the reality of what the heart space truly is, then yes, the heart space is a space in which needs to see all realities, all polarities, all dimensions. And so this is a very important topic, and it is one that I definitely had much experience with in my time, and recognizing that, of course, the nature, if we look on a very practical sense of individual having all different dimensions, all different possibilities of themselves. In every moment, we have the potential to love and we have the potential to kill. And this is the reality of the human vessel and the reality of the egoic versus the true self space. And recognizing that it needs not go too much farther than this reality of existing, that whatever we are perceiving here and now is the reality in which we're perceiving here and now. And naturally, as we have tendencies to do various things, tendencies in which bring us into spaces in which do not seem like the true us. It doesn't seem like what we would actually do, or it doesn't seem like it is a loving space in which we were in the moment before. Well, naturally, if we bring ourselves into the practicality of recognizing that when we are sinking into these various tendencies, naturally it's just us coming into some form of identity. And on the practical, if we are releasing the specific things, right? So releasing from the identity that we have an attached entity within ourselves, or releasing from the identity that we are this all-pervading loving being that never makes any mistakes. These are the important practical decisions we can make to release ourselves from the deeper levels of what is truly going on. Because yes, we are in a reality in which is existing on a physical plane of five senses in which we are only perceiving a small fraction. So as we deepen into the space of reality of existence of us being a multi-dimension, existing on an infinite spectrum of sensation and an infinite spectrum of vibration, then of course there's going to be things in which we cannot truly perceive in this five sense egoic reality that are obviously affecting the reality of our body and our anatomy and the various levels of that anatomy. So when we look at various other types of beings and entities in which are of lower dimensional frequency and higher dimensional frequency, naturally, yes, these are in spaces of, we must bring them into spaces of inclusion in our understanding of our life, in our understanding that as we have certain tendencies that arise, that we we have no idea how it arises. It comes out of nowhere. It comes in the deep in space of the darkness, or even in the higher vibrational spaces of unrelenting power in a moment when you need it most, or the space of love when you're needing to accept an individual most. This is assistance. This is assistance from other dimensions in which are guiding you and bringing you. And knowing that both are guidance. The darkest of dark is guidance and the highest of light is guidance, because both is guiding you back to your own center and core. And you are at this core. So no matter where the involvement of certain parasitic or higher spiritual angelic beings are experiencing within you or are happening within you, naturally you are at the center. You are at the core. And we must never forget this, because we always have the opportunity to decide to bring ourselves into that core. We must understand there are certain powers that are extremely powerful. And these powers may be overwhelming at times, and it may bring you into spaces to act irregularly. But know that there's never an action in which can go without any space of acceptance coming after it. Every mistake or failure in which we create, ultimately there's only one choice of acceptance in which can come to denounce that karma, to clear that karma. We always have the opportunity to do this. There's never a time in which we do not have that opportunity. So regardless of the involvement and the attachments that may come through, or the possession in which may has happened, or the channeling in which has come through for you, you are still at the center, and you still have the opportunity to come into the unidentified radical acceptance in which will transcend all involvement of these beings, all involvement of the darkness or light in which is coming within you. So this is something that is very, very important, because I know I've experienced this much, and I know many individuals in this space are also experienced this. And so yes, there's various modalities, there's various techniques and tools in which can be used. And if you're looking for that in specific, you can message myself or Noah, and we can give you assistance on a one-on-one level, because this is more so in the space of energetic clearing, energetic therapy, and really getting into the deepening of why these attachments are there. So that is another topic, but I will give you the core topic in which you can apply now, and that is coming into your own space of true power and balance and responsibility.
awareness. You know, touch on that quickly because I'm right there with you, Sheikh. You know, awareness. When you're in this now space, as we are right now together, observing the energy of what's going on in the world around us currently. When you talk about demons or being of darkness specifically and how it affects you, staying in the now, you're always going to be constantly aware of how you're feeling and what's going on. So when you become aware of it, then you can stay in that space of peacefulness, the peaceful outcome you already know you want, and recognizing exactly, Michael, know thyself, recognizing I'm not comfortable, something's going on within me or is attached to me, in a space of peacefulness, spirit, my highest identity, my highest ability of self. How do I maneuver to get back to the free, open being that I am without any attachments? Awareness, being in this place that you are right now, getting here, being here now, staying here. Absolutely.
Yes, powerful. And Michael, I know, has requested to come on here, and generally we haven't done that yet. I mean, we've only done two, but I definitely would love to invite you to come on for a few moments and give your piece. I know you're a wonderful brother, so here I'm going to bring you on.
Great.
Here. You just send an invite to you, Michael, to bring in some spaces of knowledge and whatever comments or questions you have for us. Let's see how this comes forward. I'm still learning this webinar technology, so I enjoy all of you staying in this space with us and being accepting of our learning of lessons.
I'm feeling it, feeling this heat.
Yeah, this is powerful. And powerful question, Maria said, and I know it's a question that a lot of people are sinking into recently. It's one that a lot of people avoid. You know, it's not a very sexy topic. It's spiritual nature, right? So it's important. What's going on, Michael?
How's it going, my brother?
I'm well, my friend. Speak your truth.
I just wanted to add some stuff that you said because I totally resonate with everything that you spoke on. I just want to give a little clarification. It came to me in a meditation, and it's assisted many people with situations where they think they're being overpowered. And one thing I will give clarity on that issue is I would like to break down the word angels and demons. Angel means messenger. Demons means oppressor. It's just thoughts in your mind that are either giving you an empowering message or that are giving you an oppressive message to oppress you, to make you think you're not strong enough, make you think you're not great enough. And it's like the cartoons. They have the angel and the demon on the shoulders. There's actually a truth if you just stop and think. The reason why they're on their shoulders is because it's the left side and the right side of the polarity. So when we realize that it's source separating itself so it can have an experience, so you love both sides without judgment. And when you love both sides, which it's the most challenging thing to do, but let me tell you this, give you an example. When you ride a bike, you're scared. But what happens when you overcome that fear? You're enjoying the ride. See, it's like a blessing in disguise. That's the easiest way I could put it. And here's another great key that has assisted myself and many people that I've assisted is, and this is going to blow most people's minds, but like I was saying, everything that you see is your grander self revealing itself to you. But when you give attention to the illusion, you're taking your energy away from self. So this is the best example I can give. If you go to a movie theater and you try to draw on the screen to change the screen, it's going to keep playing. That's your essence, continuing, because it's not about what you ask for with your words. It's about what you ask for, what you give attention to in these spaces. Yes. So when you give attention with intention, with awareness, like we were discussing, you're actually going to the projector, or even let's go deeper than that. You're going to the director of the movie, and you're the director of your movie. You can change it, but you got to go inward. See, this is the key. Everything without is a perfect reflection, manifestation of where you're at. So if you don't like the things that you're seeing, there's no accident. You're not seeing something on TV. You're not flipping through the channels like, oh my gosh, look at that. Why am I seeing that? There are no accidents. You're seeing it because yourself is speaking to yourself to make you aware of what you got to, quote, quote, work on or give attention to transcend, because you're not fighting any energy. You're transcending what you already are and welcoming a greater, this is the words
Speak it, Michael, with you.
The words, but see, the thing is, I know you guys realize what I'm saying. Words are so, like, to get that limitless transmission into words, it takes surgical precision. So that vastness that you are, because there is no greater or lesser. I don't like these, excuse me for saying it, but I don't like these words of better, worser, lesser, greater, bigger, smaller, because it's like Sheikh was saying, and you were saying, it's the same coin. Source is the coin. This is the example that I love to give too. When you pick heads or tails, and even bring this into your consciousness, and you'll see the polarity at work here. Notice who picks heads and notice who picks tails. It's a polarity. The choice of what they choose, it's a polarity of where they're at. And you'll see it. And when they change polarity, they'll change perception. Because when you change perspective, your whole reality changes. Because reality isn't changing for you, you are changing that very aspect, the very fabric of consciousness.
Yes.
So all I wanted to say is, for people that feel disempowered, stop lying to yourself. You're believing the script that you wrote. Write a new script.
Yes.
Or even better, become the director that writes the script.
Yes.
So, thank you guys.
Absolutely. So powerful. Thank you for your enthusiasm, because we're right there with you in this.
I just love the message that Sheikh is spreading, because I don't really connect, and not to sound judgmental, but I don't really connect with messages that talk about, the answers out there. You got to go find this, you got to use this crystal, you got to use, what I tell people is, you are a crystal, you are the essence of all that is. And here's a great truth, okay? There is no universe out there happening. There is only you observing all that you are. So even the grandness of the universe, and really reflect, people that are listening to this, reflect on this, please. When you realize that the universe is just a fabric of a crumb of your consciousness being projected, because you can see infinite spaces in what you're seeing. If you tune into that vibration, that frequency, like tuning into a radio. And let me tell you this, if you're seeing things that you're not agreeing with, change the station. If you don't like the gossip radio, then you know what? Change the station and tune into the station of self. Because here's one last thing. The greatest advice I can give is be selfish. Because when you work on yourself, and this is why I do meditation, when you work on yourself, you're being selfish and you're harnessing your causal field. And when you're harnessing your causal field, just by being, you're helping the world. There's nothing out there to do, which we do, but that's not the true work. The true work is cleaning house first. That way you project this vibration of clarity, of greatness or vastness. But, thank you guys. I'll let you guys just keep transmitting. It's awesome. I love it.
Absolutely.
I just want to give the message that nothing's happening to people. Because that's the question I ask all my students. I ask them, let me ask you one question, and you're going to tell me what you need, where you're at. Do you think life is happening to you, or you think you're making life happen? Because those two different answers, if they can accept that they're making life happen, that's a master. If they think their life is happening to them, that's a victim mentality. And here's the one of the main truths. Whatever you think you are or where you're at, you're right. I will not agree with you. Because every single one in this space, whatever you believe to be true is right. But there is a truth beyond even the word truth can be spoken that doesn't even touch it.
Yeah.
Can't even smudge it. It can't even speckle it. So no matter how bad you think you are, you can't speckle badness, because badness is not even speckle goodness, and goodness doesn't even speckle badness because it doesn't exist. Consciousness doesn't feel something wrong.
Yeah.
It's just experiencing itself. That's it.
Absolutely, my friend. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother.
Thank you. Absolutely.
Thank you for having me. Blessings.
It's big, you know, Michael. You bring up such a huge thing as we're at our half-hour mark left, so we want to make this as impactful as possible to round it up. You know, just kind of to piggyback off that and then to bring it to Sheikh, who I know is really processing and preparing the ending message here, is, you know, we have so many people suffering right now. And it's really, really important that if you're on that vibration, if you're in that space of oneness where you're not concerned about what outer reflections are happening to you, what things are meeting you in this space of awareness of existence. When you can get past what's going to happen to me today when I walk outside my front door, and you instead clean house, as you said, Michael, clean your house, clean your vessel, peacefully prepare yourself to tackle the reality of the world around you. With spirit, instead of the angel and demon on the shoulders we've been talking about, when you have spirit and knowledge within, and this vessel is totally connected to spirit, totally feeling confident in that divine channel, your intuition's going to be on fire. I'm telling you, don't go down that street right now. Don't go stop at this place for lunch today. Cancel that meeting. When you're in awareness, just as you were saying with your question, Maurice, you know, when you're in awareness and in the now, spirit will protect you, but also allow you to have your free will choices. Your own awareness is dividing itself up, creating opportunities for you to live, creating adventure and experience and obstacles for you to determine what you're made of and what character, what alchemist, what kind of person you'd like to be. So all of these challenges that you're seeing around you, when you're ready to just get up and go and handle it, this is what I'm faced with today. How would Noah's archetype like to handle this? How would Sheikh's archetype that he's chosen for himself with his gifts, talents, and abilities, how would he like to tackle what's right in front of him? Car breaks down on the highway. Instead of that first reaction of fear, panic, upset, all the meetings canceled, all the stress, what would I like to do? How would I like to venture through this and explore the opportunity? From something simple as that to something as difficult as, I'm in an accident, now my leg is gone. How would I like to handle this? And everyone in this room would like to handle it in their highest self, their highest archetype of peace, that from which we come. Joy, light, that from which we come. Fire, that from which we come. Getting back to the elements, the chemistry, the biology of it all that makes it so real, that brings this consciousness past a concept and into being, into play. You get to decide what archetype you are. That angel and devil on your shoulder are giving you options at play. The experiences we have, that's why we have all of this, up and down, because you're changing your archetype with every situation. You're meeting the situation and letting it change you, rather than, as Michael said, being in your authority, being the alchemist, being in your highest version of you that does exactly what you want to do with what you're given. And if the platform is peace, the result will be peace and acceptance of what is, so we can move on to the next thing. That's how life rolls on this plane of the zero and the one, of neutrality. Life rolls on, we're observing, we're growing, we're learning, and if we can help others get to this place of evenness, neutrality, everything that they're faced with, yeah, this paradigm is going to shift. We all believe that here. This paradigm will shift. Less of the causality and more of the purpose building, creating heaven on earth, those concepts of less of the action happening to us and more of us in a state of neutrality and consciousness and creativity and ideas. We're just creation creating itself, but with all the fear, it's interrupting the transmission of our ability to create and design on this mastership. Michael, you brought it, my friend.
Powerful, powerful. Yes, I appreciate you, Michael. I appreciate you, Noah, both in that space of collective energy transmission that's coming through all of us, and this is the beauty of the intuitive connection of the soul group and soul family, in which all of us are being connected with through the internet, through the beauty of listening to our intuition, knowing who to add, knowing who to connect with, knowing who to spend your time developing relationship with. This is the power of where we are currently in, and ultimately in the space of recognizing where we're at the moment. This is the space truly of the tipping point in which we are perpetually in. But the tipping point is in the heart, because naturally the tipping point is the transcendence of the five sense realm, right? You're coming into the space of transcending into the infinite spaces of perception in which exist through the extrasensory perceptions in which give you the depth of what you are and the depth of your ability to experience this reality in a far more expanded and blissful way that gives mind an excuse to slow down. It gives mind an excuse to actually give up the battle, if you will. Because as you begin to sink into the deeper realms of extrasensory perception, energy movement, deeper realms of meditation, then naturally you're experiencing the levels and degrees along the path to the highest high, knowing that they cannot be the distractions along the path. They are literally just the pebbles along the path as we go to school and we walk the destination. I know that was an example in which my Guru, Jai Gurunath, from the Himalayas in India, who gave that beautiful example as I asked him of these various other techniques I wanted to use, be it psychedelics or Reiki and all of these other things. And he gave me the straight answer. Shall you finish the walk as a little girl to the school, or shall you get distracted with the pebbles along the path? And naturally, this is the grand lesson in which we are all sinking into, is we are vessels to continue the path and find the destination within the heart space and not get distracted by all of the other modalities and things in which we can be learning through mind to give us the potential to recognize ourselves. And this, of course, is the nature of understanding that if we are needing a frequency and vibration of a crystal, we can bring that frequency and vibration of a crystal to us. And of course, that will manifest the physical version of that specific crystal in which you are needing, because we are bringing life into life. We are bringing love to all living beings. And as we come back to the natural world of the crystals, of the elements, of the herbs, of the nutrition, of all in which is existing in the natural plane, and then the highest version of that being the human being, then we are bringing love into these, and we will be brought, they will reflect back to us when they are needed. We will be in the right natural spaces when they're needed. We'll be connected to the elements when they are needed. We'll be connected to the right herbs in which are needing to heal us when we are needed. And we will be connected to the humans in which, when they are needed and how they are needed. So this is the space of us understanding the projector as the director, as Michael has said, and sinking in deeply into the unfoldment of the space of radical acceptance, and knowing that that is the space in which we can always choose to sink into and effortlessly sink into. This is the message of all messages. Naturally, this is what comes through as we sink into the heart space in the power in which is. No, I don't know if you have anything final to leave us with as we close today, but yes.
I just want to, let's go into the empowerment as we close here, okay? Because we've done our work, and you know it's being said in the chat right now. It's the work is being done in the space of oneness, where everyone is given an opportunity to speak their truth and to align in this energy of peace, this energy of love. That's what this is about. Really clearing out our personal vessels. Whatever you came into this with, whatever I came into this session with, this was the place to clear it. This was the place to get back to the remembrance that, yes, there's a reality that we are all causing. But this is a time where we can all just take our deep breath, even at this moment now. Just getting that energy out of your body, of even this, expanding the vibration, getting a little, we're getting fire in us. So it's also bringing that back to the neutrality of it. So just taking a couple breaths here together, in through the nose. Letting your throat chakra open and release. I choose to accept the natural journey. I choose to go through with what the reality is bringing to me today. Pushing that energy out of your being. clearing and emptying your vessel. I choose to stand in peaceful preparedness for what is. I choose to love this vessel. I choose to honor this prepared vessel. That's it. Keep breathing and releasing until you're truly clear. Don't fool yourself today. That's something coming up and out of me. That's transparency. This is the place for that. So just breathing and releasing. I am strong enough to endure the visuals and the sounds and the actions of life happening all around me. I can handle it. My being can handle it and alchemize it and turn it into peace, creation, joy, inspiration. All of this fuel around me, all the pain. I choose to stand in oneness. This feels good to me. This is a worthy place to be. This is life happening. There are no pit stops. There are no breaks. I choose to accept the fullness of every moment. I need no reset. I need no cleanse. I am the cleanse. I bring the energy of all the peace and goodness of all sentient beings into my being now. I choose to wait in the space for Spirit's natural instruction downloaded into my being. I allow the ease, the effortlessness, the finesse of Spirit, the finesse of the connecting cord of all this consciousness. I allow it. I become one with it. I am the connecting cord. I know where to go to get back to that space whenever a situation causes me to forget. I need not know the path. I need not know the way. I am the way. I am the truth. I am the light. I walk in transparency for all other light consciousness to assist me, to love me, to guide me, to be one with me. I am supported by my own world, my own consciousness, my own realm. I will flow as effortlessly as possible. I choose. I choose. I choose.
Blissful, blissful. I adore you, Noah, and all that have participated today. You are so appreciated. Flowing these, continuing these at the moment, on the Thursdays, every bi-weekly experience. There may be changes, play with the format and the experience of how we run these, and eventually making them exclusive to the group, in which is really taking the path as they need to, and knowing that we are not here to take in the energy and not allow for Spirit to do something with the energy, because that is, of course, what is being done here. Is it's uprooting things, and then we are naturally needing to live it in every moment. So it is us acting as a mirror, not as a teacher, and that is the importance of the message in you sinking into your own power. So we'll be ending here. I really today. If there's any other comments or questions, please do so. I'm also putting out a link to a form that I have personally, but if you do want to connect with Noah in there, you can also put his name. It's a basic assessment tool that gives me an understanding of where you really are at and what obstacles you are facing, and give me an opportunity to sit with you on Skype, and likewise with Noah if people are wanting to do more of a connection with that one-to-one, whatever that they may be going through. So I'm loading that in, and you'll have the opportunity to fill that out. And I know Noah has some beautiful things going on with his pilgrimage. And that link was given last time. I know it's all over his Facebook, but there's numerous ways you can get in contact with us. Obviously, you've connected with us through Facebook, so stay in that space. Everything is coming through there. Of course, stay in your own space because that is the way. So blessings and love to all of you. Thank you, Noah.
Love you. Thank you all for joining in. Oneness.
Oneness now. See you all. Peace and love.